Hey guys, and welcome to another video. I was gonna take you outside today and put together some stuff in the yard, but Mother Nature had some other ideas. It has been cool and rainy and just not a nice day at all. So instead of doing that, let's go start some seeds and also up pot all of our tomato seedlings. And when I'm doing that, I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks for doing that to get stronger tomato seedlings than perhaps you've ever had before. Before I start uppotting the tomatoes, here is what they look like after about a week and a half of being in the seedling tray. I'm doing this video a little bit early because we're actually heading out of town for something that I can't wait to share with you guys. And then as you would have seen in last week's video, we planted our cabbage and our broccolini, and this week we are going to plant zucchini. So I'm really excited for that too. So tomatoes, the seeds we started last week. And then just like the last video, all of our peppers are really starting to take off. They look absolutely great and they're almost getting to the sides where I'm going to have to pinch them back, but I think I'm going to leave them for one more week. Since I've been over the seed starting process multiple times already, I am just going to go ahead and plant these really quick. We're only starting 6 zucchini, which is only one row here, so it should be relatively easy. And these are the zucchini seeds that I'm using. So West Coast Seeds is a seed company I have not used a lot. I do like that while they don't have the Ziploc bag like the Wild Rose Heritage Seed Company, it is like a sticky tab, so it does help you keep it closed. But like every other envelope, I tend to just completely destroy it by ripping it. Okay, I had to momentarily shut the camera off so I could get the seeds out of the packet, but these are the first of the larger seeds that we have, so you're definitely going to want to plant them deeper. I went to about there on my little dibbler, which is basically 1.5 inches. So now we're just going to not drop the seeds on the floor, but drop each one into the hole would be better. Just like that, and then we're just gonna go through and cover them up. And just be mindful when you're covering them up that you're not like squishing the dirt down and compacting it on top. You're just kind of folding it over from the hole that you made. And when you're making them, I tend to kind of like try to push stuff up to the side to get the hole so that it's even less compacted on the sides. Okay, so there we go. Our zucchini is planted. Super easy, super straightforward, just like all the previous videos. Now I'm going to pull this off and bring it down here to my transplanting station. All right, so I have my seedlings beside me here. I have all of our pots that we're going to be potting them to. And then I have all of my soil here. I have added the water to it. I just have to mix it together. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill up the cups and transplant the seedlings. Okay, so now that we have some dirt in our cups, I'm just going to go through and press them up against the side walls as far down as I can. So you don't want it to be quite right on the bottom, but you want it to end up so that the soil is pushed up around on all 4 sides and you have it fairly deep within the pot. And the reason for this is because when we take our seedlings out, we are going to want to plant them fairly deep. So let me just pop one of these out here. Okay, so here we have our little tomato seedling. And the awesome part about tomato seedlings is that any part of the stem that comes in contact with soil is going to grow roots. So if you just set this in the very top and don't bury it down any deeper, you're only going to be using about a 1/2 inch of root to get going. But you can kickstart your tomato seedlings by planting it as close to the top as you possibly can, and that'll make sure that you have all of this space available for root growth, which ultimately makes a really strong seedling and more likely to be a plant that's going to make it in your garden, especially if you have a little bit of inclement weather or maybe some not so ideal soil conditions. So that is what we're going to do. So I'm taking the cup and basically just going to try to drop this as far down as I possibly can, just like that. So the seedling is just barely reaching the top. And then I'm going to go back in and just fill in the rest of the space with dirt all the way up to the top. And that way we are just going to get as much root growth as possible. So you just still have to be careful with their stems at this point. They're still pretty fragile, but just kind of work your way around, keeping the stem as centered as you can. And then once again, we're not packing it in super tight and compacting the soil. We still want it loose enough for those roots to kind of grow throughout. Okay, and just like that, we have our tomato seed transplanted, and there's maybe 1/4 inch of the stem sticking out, which is perfect because that means we're gonna get a bunch of extra root growth out of this one, and hopefully it will be a much stronger tomato going into the garden. So I've already pre-labeled all of my tags. Because I have multiple different varieties of tomatoes, I am going to tag every single pot. And this is just because I don't have the space right now to keep them all separated so I don't get them mixed up. So that's why these ones are getting individual tags while the peppers did not. And now we just rinse and repeat this process for the rest of the tomatoes. Look at the root growth on that one. That looks awesome. Another quick thing to keep in mind when you're using individual tags is watching the placement of your tags for when you put them into the tray, because if they are blocking the light from your seedling and your seedling can get light, or it's blocking the light from another seedling, it's not the best scenario. So I try to always make sure they're facing the edges wherever possible, and then the middle ones, if I have to do them in the middle, I just kind of try to angle it so that it's not blocking either of the plants beside it. So one of the other things to watch when you're transplanting, one of the things to watch when you're transplanting is that you don't have big chunks of material in your soil. So whether that be rocks that take up space or like big chunks of woody pieces, I'm just kind of pulling those out as I go through. Because chunks of wood can actually suck up the nitrogen out of the soil, and then it could cause your seedling to have a deficiency. So sometimes the quality of potting soil, especially since so many new people got into gardening last year, over the last couple years, has gone down. So if you're finding more chunks and like bigger materials, definitely feel free to pick those out so that they're not taking away from your seedlings. Look at how long that root is. That is fantastic to see. And if you have a long root like that, you just want to make sure that all of it ends up under the soil and that there's not any small part of it that's left above the surface of the soil. Now, you obviously don't want to bury your seedling entirely, but if you need to go up like right to the base of it, that is completely fine. It will grow roots right up until below the leaves, and even when it's out in the garden, if they're buried a little bit lower, they will grow roots above the leaves too, so you don't have to worry about that for positioning. So there is our last seedling to transplant today, and that is all of them. So we started 10 subarctic plenty, 5 Italian paste tomatoes, and 5 Hungarian paste tomatoes. So from that, 4 of the Hungarian out of 5 germinated, 3 of the Italian paste out of 5 germinated, and quickly doing math here, 9 out of the 10 subarctic plenties germinated. Actually, I think we started 11, so 9 out of 11, which is pretty good, especially because some of these are starting to get a couple years old in terms of seed pack, so that's pretty average germination that you could expect. Yeah, so that is all of the tomato seedlings transplanted into their bigger pots. I chose not to go to the extra big pots that I did the peppers in, just because I want to keep a little bit of space to see how things grow out. This is the most plants I've started, and I'm also starting a lot of stuff that I haven't started before, and so I don't want to overcommit to bigger pots when I don't know for sure I have the space for them. So I'm waiting on that. And then also I'll be showing you a trick to get more production off your tomatoes in a future video, and the thing that I'm going to be doing is much easier to manage when they are still in smaller pots. So that's another reason for keeping them there. I'm not going to give away what that trick is just yet. I'm going to make you come back for that one. But yeah, so these are all of the tomato seedlings, and that is pretty much all I had for today. I was going to do a couple other things outside, but the weather is just really not conducive for it, so we'll just have to save that for a future video. And then I just wanted to end off by reminding everybody that if you do things a different way, or you do something that I've said not to do or anything like that, I am not an expert. This is only my 3rd, maybe 4th year max gardening. I don't know everything. So if you have a different way to do things or different ways that have worked for you, then that's awesome. Keep doing what works, but also think about maybe sharing some stuff in the comments of what's worked for you so that we can all learn together. Okay, I think that is everything I had to go over. I do think a lot of the actual transplanting I ended up doing off camera, so I'm probably just gonna speed up those bits. Yeah, other than that, I hope you guys have a great day. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna be trying to do a video every single week for the entire summer, possibly even some bonus episodes. So definitely look forward to a bunch of content coming up over the next few months, especially around gardening and fishing and photography as well. So hope you guys have a great day. I'm pretty sure I've said that 3 times already, but we'll see you in the next video.